Hello and welcome back to the new edition of Geek Lunch Meet. I'm your host Chris. Let's run through what's been going on in the news this week. First of all, there's a Kickstarter for a documentary all about Mike Mignola. I'll put a link to it down below if you feel like backing that. Mike Mignola is most famous for being the comic book artist and creator of Hellboy. He's done lots of other things, but Hellboy is his most famous. So there's a whole documentary being made about him and his work, and specifically, I think, mainly about Hellboy. Lots of people in the industry are being interviewed for that, and it does look good. I think if you want a physical copy of the film on Blu-ray, I think it runs to about $60 US, and you get some other bits and pieces as well. If you just want a digital version of the film, I think it's about $30. And there's obviously more expensive stuff where you can get signed prints and things like that. But if you like Hellboy, that one is one I definitely need to check out. As I say, I'll put a link below if you feel like backing that one. I have to say a big thank you to Mike over at Who Dares Rolls. He gave us a shout out on his YouTube channel. I've known Mike for quite a few years now. Probably about 20, probably more like 30 years now. We used to go in Mondo Comics, which was the legendary comic shop in the Tricorn in Portsmouth. Pretty much every single Saturday. You always find the same people there. Mike does his own YouTube channel, Who Dares Rolls, which is predominantly about sort of tabletop gaming and board games. He does, and some video games he does look at, and then from time to time he'll look at some movies and some general sort of geek related stuff. He's been going a lot longer than us. He's far more professional. He's got all sorts of fancy opening titles and theme music and things like that. So go and check him out if you're interested in gaming. At some point, hopefully, we'll be getting together. Depending if it's if the lockdown is still happening, it will be done virtually, and we'll post up some videos where we geek out together and discuss all the news and what's going on in the world of comics and films and things at the moment. Or if we end up doing it after lockdown is finished, we maybe can get together and do that. But check him out definitely. Also this week, a new video game was announced, Aliens Fireteam. Graphically, it looks superb. It is a 3-player co-op adventure. I'm assuming that means it's online only. It's only problem. I'm not a massive fan of online gaming. I prefer to play games myself. I'm also not a massive fan of the first-person shooters, which obviously a lot of this type of game is. Now, this one is actually a third-person, which is great. I say graphically, it looks superb. It's set sometime after Aliens, and obviously it's the usual thing. You're playing clone Marines running around inside dark corridors, being attacked by various different xenomorphs, facehuggers. There'll probably be a queen turning up at some point, I imagine. It does look good if you're into that sort of thing, and if you play online and you can get together with a couple of mates and play. It does look good. Hopefully, I don't. If they do put a single player option in, then I will pick that up at some point. But that's coming out. That is coming out this year sometime, so that'll be something to look out for later on in the year. Now, just gone up on Sky Documentaries this week is Drew, the man behind the poster, which is a documentary all about Drew Struzan, who painted just about every movie poster of any worth during the 80s and the 90s, the Star Wars, Indiana Jones, the Back to the Future posters, the Big Trouble in Little China one that I'm wearing on my t-shirt here, Goonies, you name it. Yes, we also did all the Police Academy ones as well. You name it, he painted it. And this documentary is brilliant. And it's up on, if you've got Sky access to Sky Documentaries, that's up there this week. It's great. He's a very amiable guy, very easy watching, and it also does. It gets quite sad at one point because he does get ripped off by his agent and loses a lot of his artwork, which he then has to go to court to get back. There's some intrigue in there as well. If you enjoy movie poster artwork or documentaries about film in particular, I would definitely recommend that one. So that's on Sky Documentaries. That's some fantastic news, I think, this week is that after years and years and years, Spielberg's company Amblin are getting together with the Duffer brothers, who created and directed a lot of Stranger Things, and they are finally bringing Stephen King and Peter Straub's The Talisman to Netflix. It's going to be a series. Now, this is one of my favourite books ever. I'm a big Stephen King fan, and this is one of my favourites. I read it when I was a kid. It came out in 1984. You can probably see it does say on here soon to be a major film. The original version I had said soon to be a major film from Steven Spielberg. So he had the rights all the way back then. Now, obviously, a lot of films go through development hell to get made. It's never usually plain sailing. And this has taken all these years since 1984. And finally, we're going to get this for Netflix. Hopefully, they do a good job. It's about a boy that has to travel across America on an epic quest to find the talisman to save his mother who's dying. But he can flip back and forth between this world and the territories, which is like this alternate version where everyone has a twinner, sort of a parallel version of themselves. He has all sorts of adventures along the way. Meets up with this werewolf guy, who travels with him for a while. It's obviously just been now being announced that Amblin is producing it. So how, as I say, it's going to be quite a while, I imagine, until we actually get to see it. But that is coming, which is fantastic. A bit of news this week on, I mentioned before, I think it was in the first show, Why the Last Man, a fantastic comic about every male of every species on the planet literally just drops dead one day, except for this chap Yorick and his monkey Ampersand. And there's another one that's gone through a bit of a production hell. And this week there was a advert for all the shows that are up and coming on FX and Hulu in the States. And part of it, they showed a very brief snippet of Why the Last Man. It looked like it was a very short scene of looked like it was just in the aftermath of every male on the planet dropping dead. It's on Hulu in the States, which I think is pretty much what Disney Star is over here. So hopefully that should be coming to Star, and hopefully should be this year. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Fantastic comics. If they've done it justice on the show, it could got the potential to be something quite special. Another small announcement this week was Netflix again are doing an anime series based on the Terminator, co-written by the guy that wrote the new Batman film with Rob Pattinson, which will be coming out. I think it's been put back till next year now due to the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, the Terminator, I mean, why not? The films have been going downhill ever since the second one, any rate. So, I mean, a series can't be any worse. I suppose doing it in animation, they can opens up a lot of scope. There's been lots of comic books ever since Terminator 2 came out. So they've looked at all sort of different facets and different adventures. So yeah, that's coming. Not sure when. I suspect it'll probably be next year. But yeah, that's another anime from Netflix, who are absolutely sort of making lots at the moment. Which brings me on briefly, Pacific Rim: The Black. That's another anime show that dropped this week on Netflix. Follow up obviously to Pacific Rim and Pacific Rim Uprising. Giant robots fighting with giant monsters. There's not much more to it than that. The Black is quite interesting. It's set a few years later in Australia. Something has gone wrong. There's multiple breaches opening up with monsters appearing all throughout Australia. They've done something called the Black that they keep referring to. I'm not quite entirely sure what it is, but most of Australia is this big wasteland, and it's mainly a story of this boy and this girl who are trying to find their parents. Along the way, they find this giant robot, the Jaeger, and they have sort of adventures as they're traveling across Australia. It looks stunning. It's if you've got the ability of displaying Dolby Vision, it's all in Dolby Vision on Netflix. The colours really pop. Say their Jaeger, it's a sort of yellowy orange and blue colour. And obviously it's in the outback Lots of sunshine, and everything's brilliantly lit. Yeah, and it really does look quite good. The fights with the kaiju and the Jaegers are good. Um, yeah, and it's only 7 episodes. They're only about 25 minutes an episode, so it doesn't outstay its welcome. To be honest, it could have been longer. Just as it's building up and introducing all these some really interesting elements that it brings in, it finishes. So hopefully, if it gets the ratings, we get another season of that to tie up all the loose ends. Yeah, but yeah, I recommend that Pacific Rim: The Black. If you're a fan of anime or just giant robots, or obviously if you enjoy the Pacific Rim films, I'll definitely give that one a watch. The big thing this week, I suppose, was WandaVision reached its season finale. All 9 episodes are now there for you to watch. And yeah, it was good. It was a great ending. It wasn't spectacular. I think it was very hyped. I think the problem is a lot of people build too much. There's a lot of theories on the internet, and fanboys obviously really like to discuss these things. No, we'll go into I'll go into some spoilers. So if you've not seen it yet, fast forward this bit. But yeah, no, everyone was Mephisto, the big bad guy, was going to turn up. He didn't. Doctor Strange did not turn up, which everyone thought he would, because they had said obviously this series will then carry on leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming out next year. The sort of again, following on with the multiverse, obviously the Quicksilver who had come in from the Fox X-Men universe turned out to really just be was just a boner gag, was all it sort of really boiled down to. It was just really a sort of punchline to a dick joke. So it made me laugh, and I imagine lots of fanboys out there were probably seething and probably thought that the X-Men were going to be introduced somehow. But no, so that was that was a bit different. We've still got a version now with Vision out loose in the world. It will no doubt actually turn up in future Marvel productions. From what I gather, he's Vision, but without the Mind Stone. He's got all of Vision's memories now. Obviously, he's white. Whether he's going to get his color back, I don't know. But yeah, so I imagine he's definitely going to. We'll see some more of him. We'll see more of Agatha. She was obviously left. Wanda had put the spell on her, so she thought she was Agnes. I suspect she might crop up again in Doctor Strange now that they've introduced all these different magics. I imagine we'll probably see Wanda maybe going to see her to get some knowledge. There seemed to be hinted at there. Captain Marvel 2 obviously was hinting at a lot. Monica Rambeau has now got her powers from having been passing through the hex barrier that they said had reorganized some of her DNA, and obviously she's now got these powers. And then a scroll, one of the shape-shifting scrolls, turned up right at the end and said that this guy wants to see you, obviously inferring Nick Fury. And then Jesus says, yeah, he's up there. Presumably on the space station that we saw at the end of the last Spider-Man movie. So yeah, lots of these in to various different stuff, as obviously is the Marvel way now. Yeah, it's been a great series, especially fitting for a TV show so ingrained in TV history, and looking at all the old various sitcoms. Very fitting that became the first Marvel TV show. Obviously, we should have had the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was put back because of COVID, which is now coming in just under 2 weeks. Yeah, the only thing I will say about, again, slightly disappointment about the finale was that they just abandoned all of that. Where the whole series was built on these all these sitcom tropes and going through the different decades of these productions, and then the sort of final 2 episodes just sort of abandoned all that, and it did become a sort of much more straightforward Marvel CGI slugfest of people flying through the air, knocking seven bells out of each other. But yeah, no, but very satisfactory ending, I thought. Yeah, can't wait to see say what happens with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So only 2 weeks for that. In fact, next week is the making of WandaVision documentary. Goes up on Disney Plus next Friday, and then so the Friday after that, straight on into the Falcon and Winter Soldier. that's about it for me this week. Just some short updates, and I will hopefully see you next week. If you haven't already subscribed, if you could hit the subscribe button, that would be fantastic and really help us out. So till next time, eat, geek, and be merry.